The day civilization almost ended times humanity came within minutes of disaster. This premise naturally creates tension because every event actually happened. Yet many people have never heard of them. Imagine waking up tomorrow to a world without electricity, no internet, no phones, no banks, no governments, just silence. It sounds like the beginning of a Hollywood disaster movie. But what if I told you humanity has already come frighteningly close to exactly that? Not once, but several times. A single misunderstood radar signal, one forgotten laboratory accident, one military officer making a decision that ignored direct orders. Each of these moments lasted only minutes, yet billions of lives depended on them. Most people have never heard these stories. Governments rarely talk about them. History books barely mention them. But perhaps the most terrifying question isn't what almost happened. I tease this. Could it happen again? Let's begin with the man who may have saved the world, without anyone realizing it. 1. The man who refused to start World War III. September 26, 1983. The Cold War had pushed the United States and the Soviet Union to the edge. Nuclear missiles were ready. Both sides expected the other to strike first. Inside a secret Soviet bunker, warning alarms suddenly screamed. The computer reported 1 American nuclear missile. Then 2. Then 5. The screen flashed one terrifying word. Launch. Protocol demanded immediate retaliation. Within minutes, thousands of nuclear weapons could have been fired. One officer had to make the decision. Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov looked at the screen. The computers insisted America had attacked. But something felt wrong. Why would the United States launch only 5 missiles? If war had truly begun, wouldn't there be hundreds? Petrov trusted his instincts instead of the machines. He reported it as a false alarm. Hours later, scientists discovered sunlight, reflecting off clouds, had fooled the satellite system. If Petrov had obeyed procedure, the modern world might not exist today. But this wasn't humanity's closest call. The next mistake came from something no one expected. A simple training tape. 2. The tape that nearly triggered Armageddon. Early one morning, American military command suddenly received horrifying data. Thousands of Soviet missiles appeared to be flying toward North America. Command centers erupted into chaos. Bombers prepared for takeoff. Missile crews waited for launch authorization. The countdown had begun. Except, there were no missiles. Someone had accidentally loaded a training simulation into the real warning system. For several terrifying minutes, the world's most powerful military believed nuclear war had already started. One simple human mistake almost changed history forever. If computers could make mistakes, what about nature itself? That's where the next threat came from. And unlike nuclear weapons, no one could stop it. Continue with chapters on the Carrington Event, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the 2004 Indian Ocean Tsunami, the 1918 influenza pandemic, the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic, the Yellowstone supervolcano debate, clearly separating evidence from speculation, near-Earth asteroids, AI cybersecurity risks, and critical infrastructure failures. The greatest threat isn't what you think. Throughout history, humanity has survived wars, pandemics, asteroids, volcanoes, and nuclear close calls, not because we were lucky every time, but because, in crucial moments, someone noticed a mistake, questioned an assumption, or acted with extraordinary judgment. The future will almost certainly bring new crises. Some may resemble the disasters of the past. Others may be completely different. The real lesson from these stories isn't that catastrophe is inevitable. I tease that preparation, good decisions, and learning from history can dramatically change the outcome. So here's the question. If the next global crisis begins tomorrow, will we recognize it in time? Or will history remind us that civilizations aren't usually destroyed in a single moment? They are tested by the choices people make when the warning signs first appear. If you enjoyed this documentary, let me know in the comments. Which near disaster shocked you the most? And what event do you think humanity should be preparing for next? Because the next story that almost changes the world may already be unfolding.